Hello sir, our topic is about 4-bit arithmetic logic unit design and a presettable binary up-down counter IC design. This thing we are doing as a part of our assignment of the course Advanced Digital Design using Verilog HDL. We with our team members Sai Kailash, Sai Pranav and Vinod Sai are presenting this assignment. First topic is our 4-bit ALU. ALU forms the computational unit of any processor. It takes opcode and operand as its input and performs various operations on the operands based on the opcode given, and it results an output and also some status bits. Here we design a 4-bit ALU using structural modeling. So this is the block diagram of our 4-bit ALU. It has A and B as a 4-bit wide operands and S2, S1, S0 as the opcode, and Cin is a status bit in and Cout is a status bit out, and it generates a result F. Here is the function table of an ALU. Any ALU has a function table which tells about what operation is performed by ALU based on the selection lines. So here is a function table of our ALU. So based on various selection possibilities, 8 arithmetic operations are performed and 4 logical operations are performed in our designed ALU. Now this slide depicts the ALU organization. In our ALU organization, we have smaller modules called full adder and inputs to full adder. One full adder and one inputs to full adder module constitutes a complete logic for a 1-bit ALU. In order to make it a 4-bit ALU, we need to instantiate this block 4 times. And this can be extended for any n-bit arithmetic logic unit. So if you want a 16-bit ALU for a 16-bit processor, you can make 16 instantiation of this smaller block. The reason why we chose to make a 4-bit ALU is due to the pin limitations of Arctic 7 FPGA. Here is a Verilog description of a 4-bit ALU. Let's start our design by designing the smaller modules. First, let's consider a full adder design, a simple full adder design. Input A, B and C, and it has two outputs, sum and carry. So we have declared 3 wires to connect the internal gates, and this is a very common description of a full adder. So this is the circuit synthesized later. Here is our second smaller module called inputs to full adder. So this module has an input 3-bit wide selection line and also X, Y operand bits as its input, and it outputs 2 bits A and B. We have 4 AND gates and OR gates designed according to the structural description of the design, and this is the circuit which it generates after this. This is our main module. Here we instantiate the smaller modules. We instantiate the 1-bit ALU 4 times in order to obtain 4-bit ALU. The inputs to this ALU are 3-bit wide selection line, a status input bit, and we have 4-bit wide operands A and B, and the output is a sum which is also 4-bit wide, and the output status output Cout. We can see in this block diagram, A is a 4-bit wide operand 1, B is also a 4-bit wide operand 2, and we have a 3-bit wide selection lines. Cin is a status input bit, Cout is the output status bit, and we have F as a 4-bit result. We instantiate a 1-bit ALU 4 times. So we can clearly observe that we have instantiated the smaller modules, inputs to full adder and full adder modules, and this AND gate is for propagating the carry from one stage to the another stage. In this slide, we present a test case for arithmetic operations. We can observe here from 0 to 20 nanoseconds, we have our selection line 0 0 0 0 0 0. If we see the function table for 0 0 0, we have either transfer of a or increment of a based on the C in status word. So we can clearly observe that whenever our C bit is 0, we have A transferred. A is 3 over here. This is transferred to the output. And whenever our C bit in is 1, we have 3 plus 1, 3, and this is plus 1, which is 4 as our output. As we can see in the function table, it is increment of A. And similarly, if our selection bit is 0 1 1, from the function table we can see 0 1 1 0 1 1, it is decrement of A or transfer of A based on C bit. We can see whenever our input is, whenever our selection is 3, whenever the C bit is 0, it is decrement by 1. So 3 minus 1, which is 2, we can see in the result. And whenever my C bit is 1, it transfers whatever is A. So we can see it transferred A. Here we present the logical operation of ALU. The logical operation is performed by ALU whenever the S2 bit is 1. So as we can see in our test cases, we have made our S2 bit 1, which is indicated by 4, 5 and 6, which means S2 is 1 for all these bits. Now let us consider whenever our selection bit is 1 0 0, whenever a selection bit is 1 0 0, it performs logical OR. So let us consider A is 3, which means 0 1 1, B is 5, which is 1 0 1. If we do bitwise OR, it results in 1 1 1, which is 7. So as we can see in our result, it is 7. Now in the next case, let us consider AND logic, which is indicated by selection line 1 1 0. 1 1 0 indicates AND logic. So we have A is equal to 0 1 1 and B is again 1 0 1. So the bitwise AND between A and B will result in 0 0 1, which is 1. So we can clearly see the output is 1. In this way, various kinds of arithmetic and logical operations can be performed in an ALU. In this slide, we try to convince why structural modeling, although powerful behavioral modeling tools, are present. ALU forms the heart of any processor. It's a computational unit of any processor, and it is always operated at a high speed, and it also expects results with minimum glitches and fast output. So ALUs should have a better timing control. The better timing control is always obtained by an optimized gate level netlists. So that's why we prefer ALU design in the structural modeling based on this. And another one is we always get optimized circuit hardware and an intended output logic blocks generated in the case of structural modeling. This can enhance our reliability and speed of operation. Here we come to the topic 2 of our assignment, which is presettable binary up-down counter IC design. IC design are very common with hardware description languages because they provide powerful tools of behavioral modeling for designing various complicated logic with minimum efforts. So here we describe our binary up-down counter IC in a behavioral modeling and also test it. Features of the counter. The counter has separate terminal count up and terminal count down. This is terminal count up and terminal count down to indicate the final state of the counter. And we also have preset inputs which allow circuits to be programmable, which means you can start from anywhere and end at anywhere, and also between the states. And we have two inputs for controlling the parallel load, and we have a master reset. We have a parallel load and we have a master reset pin. This is a state transition diagram of our counter. It has n states. The S0 states take the lower limit of the count and upper limit of the count and the control signals of load and master reset. After giving the clock, the counter transitions from one state to another state, and whenever a last state is reached, it asserts the terminal count output. The Verilog description of the up-down counter. In the Verilog description of the counter, we have inputs parallel load, mode, master reset, clock, and 4-bit wide data inputs INI for the initial count, FIN for the final count value, and we have output, 4-bit output, Q, and terminal count up and terminal count down outputs. We describe our model in a cyclic behavior, which is sensitive to master reset, clock, and parallel load. Passage of master reset and passage of parallel load indicates that the IC has asynchronous master reset and asynchronous parallel load. In the behavior, if master reset is 1, the output state is made 0, and if our parallel load is 1, the load value is made as the counter state. Otherwise, if my mode is 1, it's up counter mode. We increment the count until we reach the final value, and when it reaches the final value, we make the terminal count up is equal to high, and the other state, when mode is equal to 0, it acts as a down counter. We decrement the count until we reach the final value, and whenever I reach the final value or the terminal count is indicated, the TCD is made 1 since it is a down counter. In this test case, we operate our IC in up counter mode, which is indicated by mode is equal to 1, and we can observe that the initial value is 0 and the final value is A, which is 10. So we can see the states. The counter transits from 0 to 10, and whenever 10 has reached, the terminal count up goes high, and similarly the count continues, and TCD bar is invalid as it's a up counter. This is our second test case in which we operate our counter in count down mode, which is indicated by mode is equal to 0. We make our initial value 10 and the final value to be 4, so it is a 10 down to 4 counter. So initially, if our count is 0, which is actually not present between 10 and 4, so our counter doesn't go to any lockdown state. It reaches any of these state and it then starts continuing its own operation. So 0, F, E, D, C, B, A, so it has reached our state, identifiable state. From there it starts its count. So 0 to 4, whenever 4 is achieved, the terminal countdown goes high, and again it starts repeating. Thank you.